Grandfather, I brought you some dinner. Have you caught anything? How can you catch fish without a hook or bait?
Here is wisdom. Sometimes fishing is not all about catching fish, granddaughter. Sometimes it's just a time to think peacefully without being disturbed.
I hope I'm not disturbing you, Grandfather. May I ask what you were thinking about?
Well now, one little fishy just told me that my favorite granddaughter has been selected to serve our Empress in the royal palace. Such an honor.
I'm your only granddaughter,
And that's why you're my favorite.
and not so very honored. I'll only be helping in the kitchen starting tomorrow. But I am excited. What's a palace like inside, Grandfather? You worked there long ago.
Yes, when I was young, I was the assistant to the chief gardener. Ah, the Empress Palace is the most beautiful in the world, filled with beautiful plants and flowers. It's hard to tell where the palace ends and the garden begins. And there are the most remarkable flowers, some with pretty little silver bells tied to them, which ring so that anyone who passed cannot help but notice the flowers, and wind chimes that ring in the breeze. Everything in the Empress Palace and garden was remarkable, and it extended so far that the chief gardener himself did not know where it ended.
It sounds wonderful. I hope I'll be permitted to visit the garden.
As a boy, I was told by those who traveled beyond the formal garden's limits with its lofty trees sloping down to the deep blue sea, that in one of these trees lives a nightingale who sings so beautifully that even the poor fishermen, who had so many other things to do, stopped and listened.
Oh, I have heard the nightingale sing. I could listen to it all day.
Travelers from every country in the world have come to the city of the Empress, which they admired very much, as well as the palaces and gardens. But when they heard the nightingale, they declared it to be the most beautiful of all. And travelers, on their return home, have told many others what they had seen and heard. And learned men have written books containing descriptions of the city, the palace, and the gardens. But they did not forget the nightingale, which was really the greatest wonder.
It is truly a thing of wonder and beauty.
Maggie! Maggie! Time to come home! Say goodnight to your grandfather!
Oh, Mother's calling. Here's some dinner for you. Don't let it grow cold. Good night, Grandfather. I'm coming, Mother.
Those who could write poetry composed beautiful verses about the nightingale who lived in a forest near the deep blue sea. Those books traveled all over the world, and some of them came into the hands of the Empress. And as she sat in her beautiful throne, and as she read, she nodded her approval every moment, for it pleased her to find such a beautiful description of her city, her palace, and her gardens.
The nightingale's the most beautiful of all? What is this? The Emperor of Japan has sent me a book. I know nothing of any nightingale. Is there such a bird in my empire? In my very own garden? I have never heard of it.
You mustn't believe all that is written in books, Your Highness. They're so dry and dusty and boring. And most books are too plain, and they make my head and eyes hurt when I have to read them.
Some things, it appears, may be learned from books. Call for my lords and assemble my court.
All assemble
the Emperor of Japan, who tells me there's a very wonderful bird in our gardens here, called a nightingale. Why have I not been told of it? It is said to sing the most beautiful songs.
Well, I have never heard of her. She has obviously not been presented at court.
It is a bird, an incomparable bird, you ninny. Why have I never heard of it? It is my pleasure that this bird shall come this evening and sing before me. The whole world knows what I possess better than I do myself.
I have never heard of it either. It must be a very beautiful bird. But where is the nightingale to be found? How can we find it?
Your Majesty, you cannot believe everything that is written in books. Sometimes they are only made-up stories, or what is called a fable.
Ah, but in the book in which I have read this account was sent to me by the great and mighty Emperor of Japan, and therefore it must be true. I will hear this nightingale this very evening. She has my highest favor, and if she does not come, the whole court shall be trampled upon after supper is ended, and no dessert.
We must all endeavor to find this bird.
But where do we even start to look for this creature?
Can't we send the servants out to find it? I'm really not dressed to go out. I don't even know what we're looking for.
Sir, I'm only a lowly kitchen maid, but I know about the nightingale and where she lives.
You do?
Yes, I know the nightingale quite well, and indeed, she can sing beautifully. Every evening, I have permission to take home to my grandfather the leftovers from the royal kitchen. He lives down by the lake. And as I come back, I feel tired and often sit down in the woods to rest and listen to the nightingale song. Then, the tears come to my eyes, and it's just as my mother kissed me.
Little maid, I will obtain for you constant employment in the palace, and you shall have permission to see the Empress dine, if you lead us to the Nightingale, for she is invited this evening to the palace.
Is it a long journey? Should we take lunch?
I've never been in this part of the gardens. I'm really not wearing the right kind of shoes for this.
I don't usually walk this much. I don't even own the right kind of shoes for this.
Oh, look! A snake! Where? Where?
It's only a stick, honored ladies.
Throw the bugs that bother me.
Bugs? Where? Where? Oh, listen! We have finally found it. What a wonderful, deep sound for such a small creature. I've never heard anything so beautiful before.
No, that's only a cow lowing. We still have a little ways to go. Imagine, to get a cow as a nightingale.
Surely, that must be the nightingale. I've never heard such a delightful sound.
Ah, beautiful. Now I hear it tinkling like little temple bells.
No, those are frogs. But we shall soon hear her. Very soon now.
That glorious sound must surely be the Nightingale.
No, that's only a raven. You must be patient. Listen, look there. There she is.
Is it possible? I should never have thought it was like that. How ordinary it looks. Seeing so many important people must have frightened all its colors away. I never imagined it would be a plain little thing like that. But she must surely change the colors for court, seeing so many grand people around her. No one will be impressed.
Thank you, Low Nightingale, for your song. Our most gracious Empress wishes for you to sing before her tonight. With the greatest pleasure.
Sounds like the wind whistling through the trees. You see how her little throat is? I'm surprised we've never heard this on the palace before. She would be a great success at court.
If only she wasn't so plain. Maybe she has nicer clothes for court.
Shall I sing once more before you, Empress?
My excellent little Nightingale, she is not the Empress, but we have the great pleasure of inviting you this evening to the palace, where you will win imperial favor for your charming song.
My song sounds best here in the Green Wood, but still, I would come willingly to answer the Empress's invitation.
The whole court is present, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, we looked everywhere. It was such hard work. But we couldn't fail our Empress. We braved terrible dangers. Even a huge snake.
It was a stick.
We searched and searched, Your Majesty, through the gardens and forests until we found the Nightingale. And I ruined my favorite pair of shoes.
Your Majesty, it was this little kitchen maid who helped us find the Nightingale and persuaded her to visit and sing for you.
We thank you, little one, for your service to the Empire. Will the Nightingale honor us with a song?
Gladly, Empress.
The nightingale sang so sweetly that tears came into the Empress's eyes and then rolled down her cheeks as her song still became more touching and went to everyone's heart. The Empress declared that the nightingale should have any reward she liked, but the nightingale declined any reward.
How wonderful! Everything written about you is true. How can I reward and honor you?
I am already rewarded by your tears.
I should think so. To bring tears to an empress's eyes is truly the richest reward. An empress's tears have wonderful power and are quite sufficient honor.
Please sing for us again. And you, little kitchen maid, you will be counted among my maids of honor.
I am not worthy, Your Majesty.
Nonsense! If I say you're one of my maids of honor, it is a fact. I never make a mistake. Is that not true, Lord Chamberlain?
You are always correct, Your Majesty. By order of the Empress, the little kitchen maid is now a maid of honor.
How wise of Your Majesty. If only she wasn't so plain.
Just like the Nightingale.
You must remain here at our court, dear Nightingale, with your own golden church, with liberty to go out twice a day and once during the night. 12 servants be appointed to attend to your needs. We award you with the gold cap, with 2 peacock feathers and a purple button, and my second favorite jewel of Empress.
I require no awards, Empress. My song is freely given. Although the cap is lovely, it is much too big for me, and the necklace would make me too heavy to fly.
Even so, we will place it beside your perch, so all can see how important you are.
some of both today. But you, how is the newest maid in waiting to Her Majesty? You seem a little sad.
The court is filled with foolish people that only value things like jewels and gold. Everyone oohs and ahs over the little nightingale. The whole city is speaking of the wonderful bird. And when two people meet, one says,
Nightingale.
Gail.
there is nothing else being talked about. The nightingale asks the same over and over again until it's too tired to say another no. Some were annoyed when the little bird got tired.
Did you hear? 11 children have been named Nightingales this week. But not one of them could sing the notes.
Then, a new gift was lured to the Empress from the Emperor of Japan.
Your Majesty, you have received another package from the Emperor of Japan.
There is no doubt a new book about our celebrated bird.
Look, Your Majesty, a jeweled clockwork bird.
But instead of a book, it was a work of art. A clockwork bird makes it look like a real one, but covered with diamonds, rubies, and sapphires. As soon as the clockwork bird is wound up, it can sing almost like the real one, and it sparkled with jewels, silver, and gold.
Oh, how very beautiful it is. Not plain like the nightingale.
Now we must sing together, and what a duet it will be.
But they did not get on well. The nightingale sang in its own natural way, but the nightingale never sang the same song twice. The artificial birds sing only one song.
Well, it may only sing one song, but that is not a fault. It's quite perfect to my taste, and a marvel that it sings at all.
And so they each had to sing along. The clockwork bird thinks just as much as the real one.
It was so much prettier to look at than the nightingale. See how the light sparkles off of the jewels and gold?
He would wind the clockwork bird up and listen to it more than 30 times without it tiring, even though it was the same tune. The Empress and courtiers were so enraptured that they didn't mind it being the same song. The courtiers would gladly heard it again, but the Empress said the real nightingale ought to sing something.
Let us have the nightingale sing for us again. But where is she?
No one had noticed her when she flew out into the gardens. And when her flight had been discovered, the courtiers blamed the nightingale and said she was a very ungrateful creature.
It appears that she has flown away, Your Majesty.
What strange conduct. But we have the best bird, after all, right here, ready to sing for us whenever we like, without tiring. The nightingale is banished from our court for discourtesy in leaving us without our permission. What do you think of our clockwork bird, Royal Music Master?
This bird is a marvelous invention. I've never heard such perfection. It is better than a real nightingale, not only in its beautiful music, but also in its dress of gold and beautiful jewels.
Hello, little maid. Hello, nightingale. sad. Do not worry, little maid. I will never be too far away.
My lady and Empress, you must understand that with the real Nightingale, you can never tell what is going to be sung. But with this marvelous invention, everything is settled. We should exhibit the bird to the people next Sunday.
Yes, music master, make it so. You are all ordered to attend me for tea on the public porch this very evening, with a little imperial clockwork bird shall sing for all my people to hear.
So sad, grandfather.
Is that about the clockwork bird?
Yes, the clockwork bird has replaced the nightingale. Even when it sings only one song perfectly, it's always the same. When they hear it, they are like people spellbound. It has now received the title of Little Imperial Clockwork Singer. The Empress doesn't even ask about the nightingale at all now. First, she flew out into the gardens to give her place by the throne to the clockwork bird. But I went looking for the nightingale today and found that she has even flown away from the garden. Probably back to her green wood. The Empress didn't realize or care that she was gone.
There are far too many at court that only look at outward appearances. They would think far less of the mechanical bird if the gold and jewels were not there.
The clockwork bird placed close to the Empress's ground. It made a great fuss over something that isn't even alive.
An announcement. The music master has written a book in 25 volumes about the little clockwork bird, which is very learned and very long, and full of the most difficult words. Here is the summary and the introduction.
All of the people are ordered to read it and understand it. All 25 volumes of it. For fear of being thought stupid and having their bodies trampled upon. Lady Mugu and Lady Szechuan were practically in tears having to read all of those books.
So a year passed, and the people, the court, and the Empress knew every single note of the clockwork bird's song. And for that reason, it pleased them even more, for they could sing along with the bird, which they often did. The street boys even sang it, and the Empress herself could sing it as well.
One evening, when the clockwork bird was singing its best, and the Empress sat listening to it, something inside the bird sounded good. Then, a spring cracked.
Send for the imperial physician, quickly!
Your Majesty, what can I do? Your lovely clockwork bird is not flesh and blood. I do not know how to repair it. You should send for the Imperial Watchmaker.
Then send for the imperial watchmaker, at once!
Your Majesty, after a great deal of close examination, the clockwork bird is back in working order. But it must be used very carefully, as the gears and springs are worn from being used so often, and it would be impossible to replace them without injuring the music.
Oh no! Will it play again?
I've done what I can. You must not wind it up to sing for more than once a month, or it will break beyond my ability to repair it.
Only once a month? Oh
Yes, you must treat it with great care, Your Majesty.
5 years passed, and then a real grief came upon the land. The people really loved our Empress, but she started to become weak, and now lay so ill and sad, she was not expected to live very long. Slowly, her court abandoned her. Already, a new Empress was being prepared. And the people in the street asked the old lords and ladies how the Empress was, but they only shook their heads.
Cold and pale lay the Empress in her throne. The whole city thought she would die at any time, and everyone ran to make homage to she that would be the successor. The chamberlain asked for quiet. Cloths had been laid down on the floors in the halls and passages so that no footsteps should be heard, and all was silent and still. But the Empress was not yet dead, though she lay cold and still in her throne, with its embroidered curtains and heavy gold tassels, and the moon shining on the Empress and the silent clockwork bird. The poor Empress, finding she could scarcely breathe, with a strange weight on her chest, opened her eyes to see a dark figure enter and merge with the shadows of the garden.
Who is there, walking in my garden? Who are you?
I am the dark shadow on a sunny day. I am the chill of cold winter sleeps of. I am the dark before the dawn on a moonless night.
But who and what are you?
I am death, who has come to take you from your pretty palace
Oh.
and the shadows of darkness.
Oh no, I'm not ready for you. Help! Where are my maids and servants?
I am here, Your Majesty. The chamberlain is visiting his mother. Everyone else is preparing for the next Empress. Who is this?
This is death. Come to take me away, and I am not ready.
I have come, Empress, to take your joy of living, your ability to rule, your friends and courtiers.
Death stood there, waiting for the last breath.
I have come, Empress, to remind you of your good and bad deeds, as I see, looking into your heart.
But I have been a good person, and tried to be a good leader of my people. Music! I must have music!
Your precious gold clockwork bird will sing no more. Only the ghost dusty has forgotten his voice. It is not alive, it cannot give life. It cannot help you.
Ying, help me! Find that dear little Nightingale, and ask for it to come sing for me once more as I face death.
She is not far away. Little Nightingale, we need you. The Empress is facing death and needs your song to stay alive.
Death stood there, waiting for the last breath.
No one will come.
Little Nightingale, hear my call. Come sing for me once more and rescue me from this moment. Sing, pray, sing.
And as Death stood there, the Empress was losing her breath. Suddenly, there came the sound, the sweet joy of music.
Oh, Empress, I have known of your illness and heard your call. I have come to sing to you of hope and trust, of life and beauty and of wisdom.
And as she sung, the shadows of death began to draw away.
Go on, little Nightingale, go on. I give you back your joy of living, your ability to rule, your friends and your courtiers.
She sung of the quiet churchyard, Death's garden, where the elder tree wafts its perfume on the breeze, where the white roses grow, and the fresh, sweet grass is moistened by mourners' tears. Then Death longed to go and see his own garden, and floated away like a cold, white mist.
Thank you, heavenly little bird, and thank you, May Ying. When all my courtiers left me, only you stayed behind to serve me. And you, dear Nightingale, I know you well. I foolishly banished you from my presence once, and yet you have charmed death away from my palace, and banished death from my heart to keep your sweet song. How can I reward you?
You have already rewarded me. I will never forget that I had tears from your eyes at the first time I sang to you. These are the jewels that give joy to the singer's heart. But now listen and grow strong and well again. I will sing to you. And you, your lady, let us make peace and for your courtiers and people.
You and the Nightingale are raised first above all others in my kingdom. And you, little maiden lady, you shall from now on be known as the great Lady May Ying, first in my courts and kingdom forever.
Oh no, your majesty, I am not.
Oh yes, courtiers.
The nightingale sang, and as she sang, the Empress fell into a deep and restful sleep. And how mild and refreshing that slumber was! When she awoke, strengthened and restored, the sun shone brightly through the window. But not one of her servants had returned. They all believed she was dead. Only the nightingale still sat beside her singing, and the little maid now raised to great estate.
You both are still here. You must always remain with me, and you, maiden, shall be with me always. You, dear nightingale, shall sing only when it pleases you, and I will break the clockwork bird into 1,000 pieces.
No, do not do that. The clockwork bird did very well as long as it could. Rather, keep its ears as an ornament for your palace. I cannot live here and build my nest, but rather let me come and go when I like. I will sit on a bough outside your window in the evening and sing to you, so that you may be happy and have thoughts full of joy. I will sing to you of those who are happy and of those who suffer, of the good and the evil who are hidden around you. I will make my home not far from you and your court, close to the homes of the fishermen and the peasants. Know that I love your heart better than your crown. When you call, I will come. I will sing to you, but you must promise me one thing.
Anything.
I only ask one thing. Never let anyone know you have a little bird who tells you everything. It will be best to conceal it.
Maiden, I mean great lady maiden. Do you think representable for our court?
The very presentable Empress.
Let's wake this place up.
Your Majesty, are you well? What joy! Quick, call together the whole court. Tell them the Empress is well again.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Your Majesty.
With the help of the great lady maiden, first in our court, I am Rose.
A kitchen maid? Is that a great lady? And raised above all else, including us?
For many years afterwards, the Empress ruled wisely and kindly, and with great happiness. Nobody ever found out that there was a little bird singing to her each night, and no one seemed to understand why the former kitchen maid was adopted by the Empress and came to be the wisest advisor in the kingdom.